We got to talk some Miami Hurricane recruiting as their rival Florida State comes to town. But this isn't just any rivalry game. Florida State limps into town. After beating the brakes off of Miami the last couple of years, it looks like Mario Cristobal is ready to flip the script. And Miami looks great this year. They are undefeated, and they got recruits on campus. We're going to talk to Azubi Charles from Kane Sport about some of these major flip targets that are going to be in Miami this weekend. But, guys, before we get going, hit subscribe to the On3 Recruits channel. This is the best recruiting channel on all of YouTube, and we love talking Miami Hurricane recruiting. All right, let's bring in Azubi Charles. Azubi, we know Miami's trying to pack the stands with elite recruits in this one. First of all, what's the environment going to be like at kickoff, and how many recruits do we think are going to be on the sidelines for this one?
I think this is going to be the best environment that Mario Cristobal has had, over his last 3 years being the head coach of Miami. Obviously, like you mentioned, the success that the program is having this year, the people in South Florida are ready to, get Hard Rock packed. And, that's been a thing that they've been pushing this week, pack Hard Rock. And I think there's going to be over 100 recruits on that sideline watching this matchup. This, to me, is the biggest recruiting weekend for the Miami Hurricanes. You have your in-state rival, your biggest rival coming into town, a program that you share a lot of recruiting battles with, and Miami's making sure they pack out that recruiting section this weekend.
Yeah, Mario Cristobal has done a phenomenal job since he's arrived on campus of getting this roster to a place where it is today, where it looks like they are on the verge of really doing something terrible to their rival in front of a lot of recruits. And here's the flip targets that are going to be on campus. We got DJ Pickett, Solomon Thomas, Ben Hanks, TJ Alford, Jarquez Carter, Shamar Arnaud. There's going to be more, but I want to talk about some of these because there's some big ones. So out of the flip targets that are going to be on campus, who do you think is the most important? Like, which position of need could Miami fill with one of these big names?
I think I'm going to group in those three defensive backs that you mentioned, DJ Pickett, Ben Hanks, and Shamar Arnaud, kind of in that order. DJ Pickett's been Miami's guy, for the entirety of this cycle. And despite him committing to LSU, they still continue to push and kind of put that full court press on him. He's had this game circled since the summer, so it's great to see him following through with those plans. I know he was supposed to visit LSU 2 weeks ago, but things fell through. He didn't end up, taking that trip to Baton Rouge. So, take that as you will. But, huge development getting Pickett on campus. And then you move on to Ben Hanks, the Florida commit. Miami absolutely loves him, wants to keep him home. And they've been doing a lot of things with him. Got him on campus for the Virginia Tech game, getting him back now. And then Shamar Arnaud, kind of later in the cycle, they offered him. Coach Travis Jackson went to go see him. Mario Cristobal has his hands all over this recruitment as well. A South Florida native, getting him back down where he's from. So I think this is going to be a huge weekend for that defensive back class.
Yeah, and, LSU having a good season, but Florida and USC both kind of on shaky ground right now. So Arnaud and Ben Hanks could be key visitors this weekend. But, of course, getting DJ Pickett on campus the number of times that Miami has already, just something to keep an eye on. And I agree with you. Hey, there's probably a great reason why he missed that LSU visit, but he still missed that LSU visit. And there's only so many games you can make it to during the season, and he's found a way to make it down to Miami for a bunch of them. All right, so heading into this weekend, who do you think on this list Miami probably has the most work to do just as we head in? Because, hey, coming out, it could be a different story.
Yeah, I'd have to go with Florida State commit Solomon Thomas. Miami's been working quietly behind the scenes with Thomas, and I spoke with him for a brief moment on Sunday. He said, hey, I'm most likely making that trip down to South Florida, watch C2's teams. Obviously committed to the Seminoles and kind of their crown jewel in that 2025 class, being a high-rated prospect, under Coach Mike Norvell right now. But Miami has a lot of work to do, in my opinion, with Solomon Thomas. But if he ends up showing up on campus on Saturday, I think that's a great sign for the Hurricanes moving forward.
Yeah, because it's kind of always been more LSU. If anybody's going to flip him, maybe it's LSU. But Miami continue to talk to him, and now if they can get him on campus for this game and beat FSU in front of him, that could go a long way. All right. Now, so we know about the flip targets, but there's also going to be some really important 2026 recruits on campus. And this is kind of where the groundwork gets laid for these future early commitments and early leaders. So who are the important names that Miami fans should know heading into this weekend?
Yeah, the first name I want to mention is one that Miami fans are kind of familiar with. It's Camden Portis, a 2026 cornerback, the son of, former Miami running back Clinton Portis. And I wouldn't be surprised if he's in that Hurricanes 2026 class by the time this weekend's over. And then some other guys, 2026 Florida State commits, a pair of them, Darius Hughes out of South Dade and Darian Williams out of Plant High School in the Tampa area. Two guys in that Florida State 2026 class that are going to be there. this will be Hughes' second look at Miami this year and Williams' first look. And he has some interest in the Canes. And then moving on that list, 2026 wide receiver Devin Carter, who's actually the son of Florida State legend Dexter Carter, former first-round pick for the Seminoles. He'll be back in Miami this weekend. We got guys like Cannon Pickett as well. We all know about that connection with DJ, Deuce Geralds, and a few, 2026 local guys in Jabari Flowers and Javian Mallory. So a ton of 2026 guys that Miami's really getting involved with early and try to lay that foundation for next year's class as well.
All right, Miami fans, talk to us. Let us know your score predictions in the comment section below. Also, who's your top flip target heading into this big rivalry weekend? Let us know. Comment section below.